So today I want to talk about my bike, and in the rear wheel there is this Shimano 8-speed internal gear hub. So this is the hub, as you can see. Looks normal, a little bit dirty. It's been on this bike for about 13,000 kilometers. But there's something special about this hub, because normally the factory is supplying it with some white grease to get everything smooth inside. But what I did, I replaced the white grease with this. Let me see if I get it in focus. Gearbox oil, semi-synthetic, 75W90 GL4-5. And I can tell you, this stuff in this hub is awesome. Now don't get me wrong, the internal white grease is fine for the most part, does the job, it's factory supplied, so should be okay. But there's a reason. The 11-speed, for example, from Shimano runs on oil. And for the same reason, the world famous roll-off hub, the 14-speed, also runs on oil and not grease. Oil is just considered to be the superior lubricant when it comes to these kind of things. So when I changed to oil on this hub, I did notice that the shifting became a little bit more smooth, and the hub now runs quite a little bit smoother and more silent. So all in all, I can only say good things about it. There has been no leaking, there have been no problems, and the last time I opened it up, the hub looked like brand new. There was also no problem of the oil reacting with some plastic parts. Everything is just perfect. So yeah, can really recommend it. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it yourself. Okay, so the first thing you do is you put the gear selector all the way to number 8. Next, you flip the bike over and you're gonna remove these two, let me get it in focus, this big screw, and on the other side you remove this one. When both screws are removed, there will be these little lock nuts, the anti-rotating washers, and you can just wiggle them loose. Maybe you need some pliers, but they will generally come off easily. The other thing you need to remove is the cable that's selecting the gear, and it's right over here. Let me turn it. See, whenever you on your steering you change gear, this will move a little bit. So how to remove this? Pretty easy. You make sure there's no tension. So you push it a little bit to one side and you rotate this way, and you can just take it out, and that's it. The gear selector cable is held in place by this little arm that's sticking out from the hub, and it's pretty easy to remove. You just grab it like this, pull it a little bit backwards, and make sure you can remove the wheel with no problem. The last step in order to remove the wheel, we need to loosen the chain. The easiest thing to do is just to rotate the front gear and make sure the chain will fall off, so it will be really loose. Now, when it's loose, now we can remove the chain from here too. Make it even looser and pull up the wheel out of the bike. Once the wheel is removed, we need to remove these small parts over here. Most of them you can just do by hand, no problem. Hold this part, turn this counterclockwise, and it will just come off easily. Put it down, take this part, it will come as one whole. It can still move, but it's one part. Don't worry about how to put it back, because there's only one way you can put it on there. So don't worry about that. The next part, you do need something, a little screwdriver, because we need to remove this little ring. Comes off easily, depends on how long it's been there. And then the next part is we need to remove a little spring, and this spring is holding the cork in place. And there are little openings here and here and here. And you just put a screwdriver in here, push and open it, and fiddle a little bit till it comes off. Maybe I have to start here. So that's one, yep, better. And now we move here. And here it comes. That's it. And now we can remove the whole cork. Remove this part, also easy. Next step is we need to loosen this screw-on cap. And for that I need a special tool, which I will get now. Sometimes you can maybe, if you have really strong hands, you can turn by hand, but probably not. So I got the tool. This tool is actually used to remove corks from the oil system. You can also use this tool to remove the oil filter from your car. And what you do is you put it on here, over the plastic cap. Make sure it's as tight as possible. I already set it on the correct setting. Make sure it doesn't slide off, so I hold it a little bit. And you just turn it clockwise and that will loosen it, like this. And the rest you can just turn by hand. But before we totally remove it, we also need to remove the back side of the wheel, where the disc brake is located. I've turned the wheel around. Here you see the disc brake, the disc rotor. And if you want to remove that thing, you need a special tool. It's this tool. I don't know the name, but you put it over there. And it will just slide into these little corners. That's okay. And if you want to remove it, it's just counterclockwise like a normal screw. You'll just hold your wheel, put this thing on there, and turn counterclockwise. It should not be really tight, and you just remove this. And then you can remove the disc like this. You need number 17. And you need this special tool. And it's number 15. You can't really see on the video, but there are two screws that are stuck together. The first one is behind here. And this number 15 will perfectly fit behind there. And then with your other hand, you take this screw and you just loosen it by holding this one and moving this one counterclockwise. It can be really tight. There it goes. And now you can just unscrew this one. And then you can also unscrew this one. Looks like the axle is also turning, so I need to hold it. Let's see if I can hold it. Here it goes. This one should not be too difficult. And now we can turn the wheel around. We unscrew this plastic cap. Clockwise is open. Here it goes. And now we can just pull out the whole system like this. It's one piece, don't worry, nothing can fall out. And I'm gonna put it down here. Alright, so I'm gonna clean it out. There's some oil in there, really dirty. Just clean it all like this. I forgot to mention, of course, because if you're doing this for the first time, there will not be oil in your internal gear hub, but there will be the white grease. So, but the procedure is still the same. You just clean this out, and then we clean this part. Don't worry about it, use a lot. Once again, nothing can go wrong. You can just turn it, rotate it, grab it here. Doesn't really matter. Alright, here's the hub again, all cleaned up. And it's actually possible to remove this part as one piece. Again, don't worry, no things will just fall out. You just have to remove this locking spring. Let's see if I can grab it. A little bit difficult, Let's try a little bit more here. Yep, that's better. Looks like this. All right. And now we can pull it up, but it will be stuck. The trick is you grab on the lower side the part that changes the gear and you move it to the right. Hey, and suddenly when you wiggle around a little bit, it will just fall out, or it will just move up. So here we got the Alfine 8-speed part on the right, over here. And this one is from the Nexus 8-speed. So these were interchangeable. This one has about 500 kilometers, this one about 13,000, a bit more. And from what I can tell, they look absolutely identical when it comes to the gears and if there's any wear on them. Not sure if you can really see it, but I try not to get them out of focus. But I cannot tell the difference. Well, there are a small design difference to save weight. For example, this one has a little dent in it, this one not. And the gears themselves, these ones have, on the Alfine, have a little bit more curved edges on this side, and these ones don't. And if you look at this side, they're flat here. And if you look at the Alfine, they probably saved a little bit of weight by removing a little bit of metal over there. Maybe inside there are some more parts that save a little bit of weight. I didn't measure them, and the weights, the scale I have is the battery is empty, so I cannot check it right now. But probably this one is supposed to be a little bit lighter than this one. From a little different angle, we check the internals now from this side. And I'm checking these gears versus these gears. This one is the Nexus, this one is the Alfine. But I can't say the gears look worn in any way or whatsoever. $13,000 kilometer. This one has 500. So, and these ones are the shafts with the gear selectors that move. And the left one is the Alfine, the right one is the Nexus. And they look again very, very similar. Can't tell the difference when it comes to wear and tear. Time to put it back together. And by the way, when people talk about, oh, be careful what kind of oil you put in your gear hub, because it might destroy some plastic parts. It's about this part, this plastic part, the ball bearing ring. It holds these ball bearings together, and this is made of, I suppose, ABS plastic. But anyway, after so many kilometers and so many months and years, it still looks like new, so it's safe to say the oil does not kill the plastic. Alright, so in order to put this thing back on, it's actually pretty easy. Just slide it on, see how far it will go. Now, about here. Grab your tool, grab this ring, turn it slowly, be careful, all the way till gear max. Like this, let it go again, and it's on. Easy as pie. Now, the next thing we do is we put back the lock ring. Let's see, where did it go? Here it is. Are we still in focus? Let's refocus. Here we go again. So this ring should go back on there. And that's removing the ring is actually harder than putting it back. Can be both sides, can be like this, can be like this, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna put it back like this and just get this thing and just push it on there. Let's see if we can make it so we can all look at it. Let's try left. I'm right-handed, so let's see. Here we go. Almost. There we go. Also not very difficult. Let's see if it's actually good. Yeah, looks fine. So from this side of the hub, let's call it the back side, I always apply a little bit of extra grease to keep dirt out, but also to keep the oil inside. Apply generously. I just fill this gap here. It's like a seal a little bit, and it works fine because I did not have any leakages whatsoever. So we'll add some here. And we are going to add the oil, and then we are going to put back the internals. So let's grab the oil like this, and then we're going to see how much is going to be in there. All right. Yeah, that's about enough. Okay, before it leaks out, let's quickly add this back in. All right, that's it. So yeah, about 10 milliliters. That should be fine. Put the plastic cap on again. That's this one. And also to make sure it won't leak out here, I'm going to add some ball bearing grease on the inside of this one. So this will all seal up. Very important, make sure everything is clean, so there's no sand in here. So put it on. The left side is fastened. When you got the cap on, no need to use this tool again. Just use your hands to tighten it as much as you can. That's fine. Next part on the back side again. I applied some extra grease in here just to seal off the oil, and this part is the next part that we will put on there. Just use your hands. First part will just slide on, and next you screw it on here. Now the question is, how tight should this be on there? Because this screw determines how much pressure is on the, how much is squeezed in there. How much the internals are pressed into the hub. And the best thing to check is whether there's any form of play. This is a little bit, so we're not there yet, a little bit tighter. Still there. A little bit more, still there. A little bit more, still there. A little bit more, almost there. Now it's gone. And this is really precise because you don't want any play, but you don't want to do it too tight because then your wheel will not spin freely. So that's kind of important. So the next part is this screw. And we're gonna put this part first with a little edge on it. Now, in order to really tighten this one, we need to hold the other one. That's why we need this tool again, the number 15. So I'm gonna, let's see, where is it? Like here. And then I'm gonna use the 17 like here. Hold this in place. And we're gonna, where did we go? Here we go to, we're gonna tighten this one. Let's see if there's any play. Spinning freely. Next part, disc rotor. Put it on the same way you took it off, like this. Easy. Take the screw cap, put it on there, and tighten it. Come on. Yes. There we go. Use a special tool. take the big tool and tighten it like this, and that's enough. Tight is tight. Alright, turn around again. Now comes the little bit of a fiddly part where we have to add the chain cog again. Let's see, the first part, and we're gonna put it on there, just like that. Next part, we can put this part on already, like this. Next part, this cog like this. Now the trickiest part is getting this lock ring on there. So it's a little bit, you can bend it a little bit, and you just place it on there, and then you're gonna use this little screwdriver to fit it on there. Let's see, and there are these little dents here. Here, 1, 2, 3. You can use those to push the ring on there. So it might take some time. It's a little bit fiddly, but again, it's all metal, so it's not like anything breaks really quickly. And here's the other part. Oh, there we go already. And here is the, yep, and there it is. That went pretty smooth. Next, let's see what's next. We're gonna put on this little ring. And again, I'm gonna use a little bit of grease, like this. Put it on there. And there it goes. That's it. And finally the last step, and that's putting back this and this part again. So it only fits on there at one position. Just make sure you line up the red dots and just see where it fits. Let's see, I think over here, yep, like this. Take this little part, it's always a little bit wiggly, that's the way it's designed, and that's the wheel finished. Okay, I've put the wheel back in, and now the only things that have to be done is putting the chain on there correctly again. So let's do that now. Let's see if that's gonna work. Let's see, let's move it a little bit like this. Yeah, that's better. And here we go. That's one. Next part is putting the gear adjustment cable back. And for that, I don't think I need any tools. Just grab this part, push this back, and push it in there, like this. Done it a few times, should be not too difficult, but can be a little bit fiddly again to get it the first time right. Make sure the arm here is connecting with the cable. And then the only part missing is adding the anti-rotation washers and adding the nut spec. And then everything should be good. And by the way, this is how the wheel should be spinning freely. If it stops more quickly and it's not the brakes, then you over tighten the nut we were talking about earlier. Oh, and last but not least, when you put the wheel back, do really tighten those two nuts that hold the axle together, because if you don't do that, it might rotate in your frame a little bit and it will mess up your gearing. So make sure everything is really, really tight. Alright, thanks for watching.